Hello, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to this interview today with Elisa Fusi. Elisa is a very treasured member of the Complementary Medical Association, and I am so privileged to have her with us today. Elisa, welcome, and thank you for spending the time to come and talk to me today.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you a lot for this opportunity. Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Absolutely, no problem at all. So, as I understand it, you're a herbalist. Have I understood that correctly?
Sorry?
As I understand it, you are a herbalist.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am an herbalist.
Lovely. So what was your path into herbal medicine? How did you start?
So basically, everything started very, very early. So I had this fascination for all living forms and life. So I started with biology and specifically the medical branch of biology. But early as well, I realized that there was more than the organic disease. And so I started to get fascinated with epigenetics and psychosomatic medicine. And shortly, I started to study herbal medicine in UK. And that was brilliant because at the same time, I started to travel and explore traditions, ancient traditions all over the world. So I met the symbolic, the rituals, and anything which is the traditional form of healing. So at that point, I had both sides of the story. So I have the evidence-based facts, so the science. And the other side was like this connection with the natural medicine in its ancient form. So I found this a perfect bridge for herbalism because it keeps like both sides of the brain, the hemispheres working, so the rational and the creative, intuitive way. And then this fascination is still on, of course, because my passion for herbs brought me to study with the indigenous people in Guatemala and specifically the neglected art of Mayan medicine. And at that point, yes, it's where I really start to get into herbs and all the traditions related to herbs.
My goodness, I tell you what, this is just a very quick interview to introduce you to everybody. But I think at some point, we are going to have to do a long interview with you, perhaps one of our Zoom sessions on for the CMA tutorials. I would love to know more about all of your adventures. You have the most amazing background. It's very eclectic, but absolutely brilliant and very in keeping with the ethos of the Complementary Medical Association. Because, as you know, we're all about the evidence. So yes, if something works, it's been used for many, many thousands of years. But it's also really helpful, I think, if complementary medicine is to go into the mainstream, for us to have the evidence base so that we can say, well, yes, there is a good body of research on this. And so you're clearly pioneering a lot of this work, which hats off. I'm so impressed. It's exciting. So, but as I understand it, Elisa, you actually teach now as well. I understand that you set up an educational center.
Yeah, it's been now, 10 years correctly. And I had this feeling, and I still have, that education is key probably to everything, to economical crisis, political, ecological crisis. So education is really like the key for many things. And in the case of complementary medicine, I had this impulse really to transmit the ancient knowledge, plus, of course, the modern knowledge of complementary medicine, to not get this information lost. So this ancient knowledge, especially when it's orally transmitted, has not to be lost. So education is also a way to keep this connection open. Plus, of course, education means also to make people informed and to make them critically thinking, and we know that from schools we find always like these little missing points in our education. And basically what I've tried to transmit really with the creation of the center is the ability to investigate. Every time we actually bring a new theory or even an old theory, try to make sense of it with our logical thinking and, of course, experience. So the educational center actually is always like changing. Each year we try always to bring new information. As you know, complementary medicine is always evolving. And so we try always to keep this balance in between the ancient and the future. So, and that's how everything started, still on.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. And what would you say are the highlights of the course that you teach?
So basically, we offer different formulas. So we have both the online and the presential courses. They can be complemented.
Yes.
And in any case, we offer like a 360 degree experience, as we want to give like practical training. And in the teachings, we actually embrace different fields. Within the complementary medicines, for example, we try to teach more of ecology, so ecological consciousness. An herbalist, for example, yes, will prescribe herbs, but what if the herb is endangered? What if this herb has not to be picked because maybe it's better to grow it, no? So all this is part of the course as well. We introduced lately like mycology and mycotherapy, as I'm a mycologist as well. So mushrooms and plants for me are like vital to the practice. And also the ethics, because I think as an herbalist, I really feel like the need also to transmit the do's and the don'ts, no, of the practice, and also like to give a sort of guideline to people. And beyond that, of course, the counseling, because all therapists that are involved in complementary medicine, they all know that time dedicated to people and to create relationship is fundamental. So all this is part of the courses online, where we also like try to cut the distances, even if it's distance learning. And so we offer also real-time like consultations, and students can always address us anytime along their path, of knowledge. Plus, of course, the training, which is presential in Portugal, where we reside right now in this beautiful land. And during the training, students, they have, of course, the ability to work and to prepare their medicine, to collect, to identify plants. And that's the point where really like immersed in nature, of course, they can connect deeply with the herbalist. So in a way, I say 360 degrees, because it embraces practically everything. And so it's a real incredible, intensive experience.
Fantastic. It sounds amazing. And so how do you see the future of complementary medicine, Elisa?
Hard question, but I have a vision, of course, of the future of complementary medicine. And that I can resume it just with one word: integration. So basically, we know already that integrative medicine is happening here and there, but still is not ingraining. The point is there should be no separation of what we consider conventional biomedicine and complementary medicine. We will arrive to a point where they will be considered one, because, of course, as we know now, for example, with the psychoneuroimmunology, we are reaching the point when we really understand that our emotions, how we feel, what we think is really affecting our immune response. So, and it was already clear for many of us, but now it's becoming mainstream. So it's important to integrate. It's important to create multidisciplinary teams of people that in the healthcare system, they can provide this complete experience. So integration, I think, is going to be the future. Is already here. We need just, to get used, and we will be there, of course.
Oh, gosh, I completely agree with you. We're so on the same page there. Actually, we've got something behind the scenes at the Complementary Medical Association. We've got something very, very exciting going on the integrative front, actually, because it's interesting. The thing is, and I think we all know this, that if you speak to most doctors, most sensible doctors nowadays, they will say, well, you know, we don't have all the answers. And we know they don't have the answers for chronic diseases. You know, they of course, you know, if you've got, let's say you're diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, then clearly you need insulin. But, you know, if you're, let's say, a type 2 diabetic, then actually our side has the answers, you know, with lifestyle modifications and all of the other various bits and pieces that we can do. So you're absolutely right. And I think that the more advanced doctors, and actually they tend to be the younger ones coming through, you know, just sort of from med school, are actually realizing that, and they're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater and just going, oh, complementary medicine, mumbo jumbo. The more intelligent doctors are actually saying, gosh, actually, you know, you guys, because you know, you've got this patient-centered approach, because you work with patients in the way that you do, where, you know, we've got this completely holistic perspective. So mind, body, you know, emotions, spirit. I think they are starting to appreciate that. So I think your vision is absolutely spot on, Elisa. I really do.
Yeah, I really hope.
So, you know, if you could make any improvements to complementary medicine at all at the moment, what would you do?
Well, starting from the center of complementary medicine, I would say to create more time for people. Because both doctors and even like complementary medicine therapists, they always like, they feel like they don't have enough time to go deeper on the roots of a disease, for example. So how to create time? Good question. I would say that health literacy can be a good solution. Literally meaning that we need to educate both doctors, therapists, everyone involved in the practice. We need to actually educate people to what I call independent self-care, which means I should be able as a person to analyze myself, signs, symptoms, to prevent disease, because I'm really like connected with my own self, that I reach the point that, of course, I am educated to what is a pathology, for example, but also I need to inform myself. So that can be done, for example, in early stage school. For example, we can start to teach a little bit of what is anatomy, pathology, of course, but also like sustain the practice of complementary medicines also. Mindfulness, an approach to the self which is investigative. All these will bring people to be more involved in their own healing, which is basic, I think. Plus, they will start to be more fascinated as well and finding also the solutions. So for minor ailments, let's say a flu, cold, any seasonal kind of disease we may have, we can actually take care of ourselves. So hospitals and clinics, they will have less people going there. And the meeting with the doctors and therapists will be more like equal. And what a beautiful setting. Imagine like instead of having a main actor, which is the doctor and the patient in a passive line, being like at the same kind of balance position. I think,
yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that I think we're on the same page for sure. You know, I could speak to you all day. It's fascinating to learn about your perspective and the work that you're doing. And we will set up another interview for sure, because it is just truly fascinating. We'll end this one now, though, because I want to just finally ask you how people go and find out about the work you do. And I should say at this point, everybody, if you're watching this on YouTube, just to the side of this video, to the right-hand side, just underneath the video, there's a little down arrow. If you click on that, it opens up the show notes, and you'll actually be able to see all of Elisa's information, how to contact her, information about her courses, her website, and so on. So, but just for those that are listening in, can you tell us how to go ahead and contact you?
So the center is called Alchimia Healing Arts, and the website is alchimiahealingarts.com. We are always very happy to reply personally to emails, so alchimia@mail.com. And also, of course, we have social medias. Even if we are very busy with gardens and the forest, we are taking care. So it can be like sometimes it takes a while to reply.
Oh no, well that's because you're actually out there doing the work. I mean, my goodness, you know that it's so authentic. I love what you're doing. It's very real and very important work. So thank you so much, Elisa, for being with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you a lot, Jamie. Thank you a lot.
Take care.
Ciao.
See you soon. Thank you.
See you soon.